Mr. Secretary, it's great to have you before the committee. I recognize that there are many pressing concerns that require your attention, your time these days. At the same time, I believe that we have the wherewithal, we have the resources to pursue our national interests globally, including in Burma, and that's what I'd like to ask you about. It's been concerning to read and hear reports of bureaucratic delays to American support to opponents of the junta in Burma, support authorized and, in fact, required by Congress in the Burma Act. Secretary Blinken, you have broad authority and sufficient funds, by my reckoning, to distribute non-lethal aid to armed groups and to Burmese society. Items like drones and communications equipment, for example, that could save countless innocent lives. Why has this aid not been fully allocated and dispersed?
Senator, I'd welcome sort of coming back to you on that in detail because I'm not aware of particular delays. Certainly our intent and my intent is to make sure that we're taking advantage of the Act and taking advantage of it in a way that allows us to robustly support both the Democratic opposition and ethnic groups, to bring them together in a unified program, to provide them the assistance that they need and the support that they need, even as we're putting pressure on the regime through sanctions. So if there's specific things, I welcome learning them and working with you on that.
Okay. And I'm grateful for that. I will take you up on that, myself, my team, and we'll stay in touch with the committee more broadly. One concern I have is that the department has perhaps made a legal determination that because some non-lethal assistance could conceivably be considered dual use, it couldn't be provided. I would want to know if that were indeed the case, how we'd square that with the enormous military assistance that Russia and China have been giving the junta. Why don't I move on to some AI discussions that have made news recently. Last week, U.S. officials, including states acting special envoy for critical and emerging technology, met with Chinese officials to discuss international or artificial intelligence governance. Where do you see China's goals for AI governance differing from our own, and how are we confronting the difference in our diplomacy?
So when it comes to AI and when it comes to China and AI, a couple of things worth citing. First, as you may have noted, we got the first resolution through the UN General Assembly with wide support, including even China, on questions of AI governance, and in particular the importance of trying to use AI to advance sustainable development goals to meet the needs of people around the world. And in that, certain basic principles about how AI should be used that very much reflect our views. And to the extent that we can get other countries signed on to those principles to maximize the benefits, minimize any of the potential harms of AI, that's a good thing. We've also gotten strong support around the world on how to think about the use of AI in autonomous weapons. I think those are very important guidelines that hopefully countries will be bound by, including China. And then more specifically, Senator, on China, we thought it's important, irrespective of our profound differences across the board, to at least be talking about how we each respectively see AI, particularly when it comes to questions of safety and security, because we know the extent to which this can be used for grievous ill, not just for benefit. And so this is a good way of at least getting a better understanding of how China is looking at this and sees this, sharing the way that we see it, and seeing if, as you know, in the past, we've had, when it came, for example, to arms control during the Cold War, maybe there are avenues for getting agreements on use and not misuse of artificial intelligence. But right now, this is just a very broad conversation about how we respectively see AI and its development.
Yeah. I'll just state and then move on with an additional question or two. I think it's fine to talk and engage in these sorts of broad discussions, and we may indeed come to terms on something we didn't expect to come to. I think it's equally as important to work with our closest allies and partners to see how we can harmonize our existing standards or evolving standards, and then since we share certain core values, that will give us leverage at the negotiating table.
You're 100%
Yes.
right, and that is what we've done. We've been working through the G7 in
Yes.
particular to try to move out on basic principles and hopefully build out
Yes.
from there.
Relatedly, today South Korea hosts the second AI Safety Summit after last year's summit at Bletchley Park. What role do you see the safety summits playing in the overall AI governance debate?
Look, I think these summits can help establish norms, rules, understandings when it comes to safety that could prove invaluable. The more we can develop a consensus around what these norms and standards and rules should be, the more we or like-minded countries are in the driver's seat, the more effective we're going to be in making sure that AI is used for good and we minimize its use for bad.
And for those who are watching, trying to get clarity on the division of labor within our own government on this topic, what is the diplomatic role that you see the department taking in consultation with Commerce following Secretary Raimondo's announcement of an international network of AI safety institutes?
We're working in very close coordination with Commerce on this, and we both have leadership roles to play, and we've organized our department accordingly. And as you know, and I appreciate supported, we established for the first time a bureau in the department for cyber and digital policy, as well as having an envoy for emerging technology. And we've got the talent at the department to make sure that we have the necessary expertise so that we can play the necessary diplomatic role around the world in trying to align other countries with our vision for the way forward on AI. But of course, Commerce has an absolutely vital role to play, a lead role to play, particularly when it comes to engaging the private sector, and we're fully partnered on that.
Well, I anticipate a lot of future conversation and focus from this committee as it relates to the harmonization of standards development, and ensuring that the standards that prevail and predominate around the world are standards that embed our values on privacy and openness and transparency and human rights and so forth. So thank you for your work in the early stages of what might be characterized as a revolution in AI technology.
And can
Chairman.
I just add one quick thing to this,
Yes.
Senator? I just want to really applaud your leadership broadly in this area, because the work that you've done, the leadership that you showed, particularly on the CHIPS and Science Act, has given us a much stronger hand to play around the world as the United States makes sure that we continue to have the leading technology, the leading industries, and thus are in a stronger position to actually shape those norms, rules, and understandings. A lot of that does go to CHIPS and Science.
Thank you.
We all thank Senator Young for his leadership. He's educated all of us on AI.